Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to show you, this is going to be kind of a two-part video. The first video, I'm going to show you how to make this pumpkin spice latte sauce at home. This is Starbucks recipe. I just made a batch and I'm going to show everybody else how to make a batch. So this is the pumpkin spice latte sauce that they put in your latte. So instead of buying like the syrup, so like a syrup you'd normally put in your latte, this is the homemade sauce. This is how much it makes. We can keep this in the refrigerator for up to a week. Here's the ingredients you're going to need. That's for a topping of the whipped cream, but we need nutmeg, ginger, ground cloves, pumpkin puree, cinnamon sticks, cheesecloth, and lots of sugar. You need like a medium pan to simmer this in, and you're going to need like something to put the cheesecloth in and to drain it into. So if you don't have any of these ingredients, this is kind of an expensive proposition. It's $35 for all these ingredients. So the pumpkin puree is $2, the cinnamon sticks is $9, cloves is $6, ginger is $4, nutmeg is $4, and cheesecloth. This cheesecloth was $6. Now I recommend all of this stuff. Now this is kind of an expensive ingredients. They do sell some cheaper ingredients. They're just out of them right now. And the nice thing is, so I just made a batch today. Now look, I can use these cinnamon sticks. I can make a lot of batches of these. Unfortunately, when you open this, you do have to kind of use it right away. So this $2 might go to waste. But at least this other stuff you're going to have on hand for a while. The cheesecloth, I use maybe a quarter of it. So I've got enough to do about 3 or 4 batches, and you're gonna need lots of sugar. This thing uses 1.5 cups of sugar. So in the end, after I do the 35, so after I buy my $35 worth of ingredients, when it's all said and done, this costs about $3.50 to make. I kind of did some just general math of what I used, and then I can get 8 servings out of this, so about $1.31 for each drink I'm gonna make today. Of just the syrup. So the syrup's going to cost me about $1.30. In the next video, I'm going to use this syrup. We're going to use the Keurig K-Cafe. I also have a Keurig Latte. So I also have a Keurig Latte. I'm going to show you how to make this Starbucks pumpkin spice latte with both machines in separate videos. And by the way, I made a latte this morning with this sauce, and it's absolutely delicious. So it is kind of worth making this homemade sauce. So I got this right off of Starbucks website. They've got some recipes you can make at home, and you can pause the video or just go to the website, and then it really tells you how to make it step by step, but it leaves some stuff you know, kind of how to do it. So that's why I'm doing the videos, just to kind of show you. Okay, so the first thing, so this takes a lot of sugar. It's 1.5 cups of sugar. And then the same 1.5 cups, 1.5 cups of water. Okay, so you're going to put this on your stove. Put it on a small burner. You don't need to get it really hot. So I'm going to put this, it says simmer it. So I found around 4, and then I'll slowly back it down as we progress. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stir this. So they want you to heat this at a simmer until the sugar is dissolved. It doesn't take long at all. It takes maybe a couple minutes, but you just keep stirring it. You don't have to stir it the whole time, but stir it, let it heat up, then come back and stir it. So maybe, I think it doesn't take long at all. And then eventually that'll look clear, like all the sugar will be dissolved. And then that's when we're gonna add our ingredients. Once we add our ingredients, then we've got to set a timer for 20 minutes, and you kind of got to stir it occasionally. And it's always going to be just at a simmer. And a simmer to me is, you know, pretty low. You might see occasional bubbles. You don't want it boiling because that could do something different to the liquid. But it kind of like simmers. It's like steam's coming off of it constantly a little bit, and it's just kind of simmering, if that makes any sense at all. But you don't want just a really fast boil. Again, this takes a while to dissolve. All that sugar is going to dissolve. So you can tell it's slowly dissolving. It's starting to get more and more clear. Okay, so while we're waiting on that, I'm going to put my ingredients into a bowl. So it takes 4 tablespoons of the pumpkin puree. This is a little messy to get out. 1, 2. Okay, so I put 4 tablespoons of the pumpkin puree in here. Next, I've got the teaspoon. It's going to take 1 teaspoon of cloves. This can be a little tricky. You don't want too much. Oops. Same thing with the ginger. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of the ginger. Just trying to get level. Then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of the nutmeg. No good way to kind of get that level. 1 and 2. And then I've got the cinnamon sticks. It's going to take 6 cinnamon sticks. Now these don't dissolve. These stay whole during the whole process, but we're going to put them in there. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is almost liquid. I'm going to keep stirring it. Now this never really boils. In order to get that sugar to dissolve, it never really boils. And I've turned it down to just about 3. And this is taking about 5 minutes. Okay, so there, the sugar water is, all the sugar is dissolved. It's just all liquid now. Now we can add our ingredients. I'm still going to keep it on about 3 or 4. I'm going to eventually turn that down just a little bit because it will start bubbling. Then we'll see. Okay, so I've got my little cup of all my ingredients. They just all go in there. And I'm just going to stir that in. You really got to kind of stir this a lot at first to get that pumpkin puree to break down. Okay, so I just used my Amazon device to start a 20-minute timer. And again, I'm going to keep stirring this. I've got it about between 3 or 4. You know, it's not super hot yet. Like I said, those cinnamon sticks, they never break down. They just kind of float around. We're starting to get a little steam coming off of it. And as we keep simmering, that steam will get more. And there's what it looks like when it's just kind of simmering. Okay, so the cheesecloth is over by the canning, over by the ball jars. But for me, this was the hardest part because it really doesn't say how much to use. So you get like 2 of these flats in one package. So that's where I said I ended up using 1 of these flats. But you could probably get away with less. But so you get quite a bit of cheesecloth. And so this stuff doesn't want to go through the cheesecloth. Like I said, that's about what I ran it through, and it had a hard time going through that. And it really, so the pumpkin puree really sticks to it. You know, a lot of stuff stays behind when you strain it. And it's kind of tricky. Like I said, there might be a better solution out there, but I'm going to do like this. And then I actually strain it twice. So I'm going to cut this in half, and I'm going to strain it twice. And you want to get this ready because you want to strain it. It says as soon as it's done after the 20-minute timer of simmering. And I did notice the stuff kind of thickens up if you let it sit a little bit. So you really want to have this ready to go so you can immediately pour it in there when it's nice and hot and get it strained. So back over here, you know, it's been about 6 or 7 minutes, maybe about 8 minutes. And it's got a nice good steam coming off it. It's not quite boiling yet. Once in a while you do get a couple bubbles coming up. And again, I've still been around the 3 or 4. And again, you really want to stir this a lot. You know, I come over every minute or so. Just really kind of go through it. Make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom. It's been about 10 minutes. You got a lot of steam coming off of it. It's really hot, but it's not boiling. So if you start getting a bunch of bubbles, just back it down a little bit. So this smells really good. Okay, so I've got my cheesecloth set up in this strainer over something. I've got a plate ready to go because I'm going to dump this cheesecloth onto that plate. So here we go. To me, this is the hardest part. So again, I've got my solution, and now it kind of makes a mess. You got to dump it in here. This went a lot better than the first time. So again, a lot of it doesn't want to drain. Just give it some time, it'll all drain out, but you're gonna be left with a lot of stuff behind. Sometimes it helps to kind of move it around. Maybe the cheesecloth is getting clogged up. To me, this is the hardest part, and this is why I strain it twice, because you are left with a really concentrated stuff behind that they don't want you to use. And I'm going to take the cinnamon sticks out. They're just kind of getting in the way now. So there's what you're left. They don't want you to use what's left behind. You know, it's still straining ever so slow, but again, they don't want you to use this stuff. So it's still straining out. Okay, so now I'm going to call that cheesecloth done. It's got a lot of stuff in it. And I'm just going to show you it's on the plate now. This is what you're left over. We're going to throw that away. Now this did a lot better job than the first time. So the first time my cheesecloth kind of went to the side. So this, yeah, I think this is going to be good. I'm not going to have to strain it again. The first time my cheesecloth spilled over to the side, and I had a bunch of, just seemed like a bunch of stuff floating in there. But this seems really pure now. And it does make quite a bit. I'll never use that much, but it does make a lot. So here you have that liquid. And again, you're going to want to put this in something you can put in the refrigerator. And they say it keeps for up to 7 days. Now this is a really sugary drink, but it does taste really good. So my next video I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to froth the milk in the frother on this Keurig K-Cafe. I'm going to do an espresso shot. This machine does an espresso shot. And I'll have myself a Starbucks pumpkin spice latte at home. And again, with this Keurig K-Latte, it's got a latte shot button, and I'm going to froth the milk with its onboard frother. Thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate everybody's support. If you got any questions on how I made this, or if I was doing something wrong, leave in the comments. I'm by no means an expert at any of this, but I'm just trying to help people, because this is a really popular drink and it's really good. I know it's not really the season for it, but maybe around Thanksgiving you might want to try this out with your Keurig machine. So again, if you could, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.